We're back with Console Crapshoot. It's the thing where we spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. We did something really different last week. That was fun. But let's see, I'm hoping to get back to some good old retro console goodness. Oh, and perfect, that's exactly what we got, the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Spinning the NES is always welcome. It's a classic, comfort zone kind of system for me. 696 games on the wheel for the NES. Oh, awesome, Snake's Revenge. I say awesome not because this game is good, it's not, but it's actually going to be really interesting to talk about, which always makes for a better episode. So you may be familiar with the Metal Gear series. Snake's Revenge, in an almost literal sense, is the bastard child of the Metal Gear series. And in order to understand why, we need to do a quick history lesson. Let me try to do this real fast. Okay, Metal Gear series was created by Japanese game designer Hideo Kojima. And believe it or not, Kojima is still creating the most batshit crazy, cutting-edge games to this day. The first game in the series came out in 1987, right after Kojima made Penguin Adventure. The game was initially designed for the MSX2, and this is the part of the story where Konami, Kojima's employer, began being the absolute worst. They took Kojima's awesome MSX2 game and ported it over to the NES without it. The game suffered, Kojima did not like this, and this original Metal Gear game did not even have a Metal Gear in it. It was in the MSX2 version, but it was cut in the NES version, and instead you fight a giant TV screen. Despite that, the game was pretty popular, and Konami wanted an inevitable sequel. In a complete asshole move, Konami started making this game, Snake's Revenge, without Kojima's knowledge. One of the people working on the game told Kojima about it, Kojima got pissed, and he started making the actual sequel, which is Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. But that didn't stop Konami from releasing their bullshit. The real sequel, Solid Snake, lended heavily to what was going to become of the franchise. Then the rest you might be more familiar with. Kojima designed Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation, and so on and so forth. Legendary franchise. Fast forward, long story short, Konami's still awful, and they wouldn't let Kojima just keep being Kojima, so he left to make crazy shit, and now they're just stuck re-releasing all his old games without paying him. Allegedly. Alright, that about covers it, I think. So yeah, Snake's Revenge serves as a perfect example of the all-too-common trend of corporations thinking that they can just be the artist. And I don't care if you're the best executive ever, you ain't no Kojima. Alright, so the game. We received information from our intelligence man. I'm willing to bet your intelligence man didn't help write the script. So there are some common Metal Gear threads here. You've got your radio to communicate, and there is a stealth component, I'll get into that. In this game, Snake is a hunchback that skips leg day. Some parts of the jungle are dark, that's cool. You shoot flares to see, there's spotlights that you have to avoid. Then you just walk around the corner and it's perfectly lit up. That's a little strange. Here's where the stealth comes in. First of all, the game design is just clumsy. It's so easy to get caught. You walk into a part of a map and there's just the guy standing there right where you walked in, so there's nothing you can do. You're gonna get caught, you're gonna get killed. On this first level, if someone sees you, then the game will generate 3 enemies that will chase you around for you to kill. If you leave that part of the map, they'll just keep chasing you around until you kill all 3 of them, and then it resets, and then you're good until you get caught again. After dying a bunch of times, I sort of developed a strategy. Like I said, the game is so poorly designed, you're gonna get caught. There's no way to stealthily get through the game, really. So what I've been doing is getting caught on purpose. It's really hard to dodge all 3 guys. They're very aggressive. So you kill 2 guys and just leave the 1 guy alive. Don't kill him. The 1 guy is manageable, and if you keep that guy alive, then all of the enemies are gone, the dark spots are lit up, there's no spotlights, and you can see where you're going. So all you gotta do is dodge that 1 guy and keep him alive. So I did that until I rescued all of the POWs and then get in this building. And with that, you pretty much get the gist of Snake's Revenge. It's a really sloppy, uninspired game, but what can I say good about it? Well, there's a ton of items. There's a ton of items and weapons. The game is such a mess that I'll never be good enough to earn all these weapons, but that's what game genie codes are for. So you have punch, you have knife, good stuff, but then you have like your shotguns and machine guns, but the other weapons are a little more nuanced. Your rocket launcher, when you fire that, you can control the path of the rocket, which is kind of cool. Grenades you can throw over walls, you can set claymores that you can set off when people walk in front of it. There's mines that people can step on and blow up. You get explosives, you get flares for dark areas. There's an impressive array of weapons that aren't just there for shoot whatever's in front of you, they're actually situational. I appreciate that. Also, there are parts of the game that switch from the top-down mode to a side-scrolling mode. I don't know why those parts aren't very good, but at least there's a change of pace there. Alright, so Snake's Revenge for the NES. It's not awful, I've played way worse NES games. There is some cool stuff here, it's not completely without merit, but I can't in good conscience say that it's a good game. It's a soulless corporate cash-in. Konami took some of its employees that worked with Kojima on the first game and ordered them to make art. Many people think that without this game, Kojima wouldn't have been inspired to make the sequel, which wouldn't have led us to the Metal Gear Solid series. So if that's true, I'm glad this game exists, but it is not good. 2 out of 5. Any other Metal Gear game is better than this, but with that said, very cool game to talk about. That's the best we can hope for. Bad games are inevitable on this wheel, but if they're interesting, then that's great. Let's hope next week's is just as interesting. Looking forward to it. See you then.